Good evening and welcome to the Township of Clark Public Council meeting. It is Monday, September 15th at 7:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Here.
Councilmember Hund.
Here.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Here.
Councilmember Minetti.
Here.
Councilmember O'Connor is absent. Councilmember Toll.
Here.
Council President Smith.
Here. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence?
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, as adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing the annual schedule of meetings to the Star-Ledger, the Leader, Union County Local Source, and Tappan to Clark by posting such annual meeting schedule on the bulletin board in Town Hall reserved for such announcements, the official website of the Township, and the proper filing of said notice. Formal action may be taken at this meeting.
Great, thank you. Before we give all the communications and township reports, Mayor Albany is going to ask you to go up to the podium. I believe we have Gary is here to be sworn in on the planning board.
Okay, why don't you come on this side? Okay. You're going to raise your right hand, put your left hand here, and repeat after me. I, Gary Grankowski.
I, Gary Grankowski,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the office of
all the duties of the office of
Class 4 member of the Planning Board,
Class 4 member of the Planning Board,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
for the Township of Clark,
for the Township of Clark.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Let's take a picture, and then I want us to say a few words about you. We know each
Make sure you speak in the microphone.
So I met Gary and his family because his son studied martial arts. He's an excellent athlete and really was probably the best student I ever had. So we miss him, but Gary retired recently, and he's very active in the Pickleball Association. So if you want, you're on the board, right?
Yeah.
The board of directors. So we can't stay out too late when they have early games on Sunday morning. But Gary has a distinguished history in his profession of as a builder, carpenter, also programmer for many years. How many years were you involved with that? 30 years of programming, and 12 years in carpentry. And property management as well. So you've had a lot of different hats to wear. I think that will help you as a member of the planning board, and we're so happy that you've decided to join us. And we're all excited and congratulate you. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gary's going to replace Joe Arancio, the unexpired term, through December 31st of 2028. Mayor, you want to?
On that,
Yep.
on this section. So I'm accepting the resignation of Planning Board Class 4 member Carmen Bricado, effective August 25th, and Joe Arancio, effective September 9th. Thank you. And we're pleased to appoint Bill Gribbs, Jr., as Class 4 member to fill the unexpired term of Carmen Bricado until December 31st, 2027. And we're appointing Gary Gronkowski as Class 4 member to fill the unexpired term, as you mentioned, of Joe Arancio until December 31st, 2028. Okay. So I'd like to go on to my communications. As I mentioned at our last meeting, we encourage everyone to come out and vote tomorrow and hopefully support the bond for the school system. You probably got a postcard, and right at the top it says, you know, this has a zero impact on taxes or no impact on taxes. And I tried to come up with a little analogy of what that means. Well, how is it zero impact? Well, it's kind of, a bond is like a mortgage. You take out the bond and then you pay it off each year, just like a mortgage, and you pay interest as you go. And that's what's been going on. They've paid down that bond, and now they need to borrow more money for their capital projects that were advertised and listed, principally roofs, communication systems, other repairs that are needed, various playgrounds, etc. So I encourage you to come out and vote tomorrow. If you haven't, some probably have voted already by mail. And the polls are open from, there's a little note on that, and our clerk is going to clarify this point.
6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
6 a.m. to 8 p.m., so plenty of time to come out and vote. So we appreciate that. Next item I wanted to talk about was last Thursday was 9/11, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from some of the people who watch the program on TV. But first, I just want to say thank you to all who come every year. We really appreciate it. You know, it means a lot to the family. Roseanne got in touch with me. She was with her daughter Annie down in North Carolina, so she couldn't make it this year. And you know, she's with her family, and it's hard every year to do that. But this ceremony that we had this year was very special. It was a little bit different than what we have done in the past. And I just want to thank Liz Klee for coming up with some new ideas on the program. And we already were talking about things we might change next year, about some of the prayers that are given, to have the various organizations give those prayers. And then also, in particular, for our Council President Bill Smith and Councilman Pat O'Connor, who collaborated with Liz on how each role would be played out. So it was very touching, very moving. You know, many of the people that were there, they were adults when they were on the day it happened. So they have different memories. But when I looked over at our firefighters, we had a lot of young firefighters, thankfully, and we appreciate them. Most of them were either 2 years old or weren't born yet. So it was, you know, we count on what they learn in school and from going to these ceremonies to learn the importance of that day and how to remember it properly. We did miss one person in particular, Jerry Scataro. He's always coming every year and talking to us about all different ways that people were affected by 9/11. Affected by it maybe last year by someone who died from injuries from the exposure, or people who were touched by it, and letters that were written, and from all different aspects of the event. So we missed him very much. We appreciate Matt's singing. You know, that's priceless to have him there, and to have everyone sing the Star Spangled Banner, which I feel is very important to hear and participate in. So that's all my comments right now. And yeah, as Jim's writing me a note, yes, Roseanne was traveling with Annie, so yes, thank you. and we hope to see her soon back here in Clark. That concludes my report.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mayor. Councilwoman Hoff?
I think the mayor just did a great job. There was an excellent email and a Honeywell alert that went out about the vote for tomorrow from the Board of Education perspective with the mayor's analogy, as she just said, about to support it tomorrow. So hopefully everybody comes out to support that for our district. The library report. Essentially, in August, the library had over 8,974 visitors and recorded 18,165 website and social media visits. There are several events happening in the fall. The Fall Fun into the Library Open House in particular is their big event. It's happening Thursday, September 25th from 6:30 to 8:30 at night. They're having a scavenger hunt and an escape room, donuts, pumpkin painting, crafts, etc. It's a great way to celebrate the library, to visit it, and meet the staff, and just have a great time for the beginning of fall, as well as several other events that are taking place with the Friends of the Library puzzle book and jewelry and costume sale on the 27th. They're having Dick Clark's American Bandstand at the Hop Dancers on Tuesday, September 30th. For teens and adults, they're having the Ghost of Hannah Caldwell on Monday, October 6th at 7 p.m. And for children, they're having the Halloween Family Story Time on Thursday, October 9th. Lastly, they're also on October 16th having a Halloween escape room. So all of these things are found on their very robust social media pages. The flyer about the Family Fall Fest is there, Fall into Fun at the Library, and hopefully everybody is able to come by and check it out. I think our library is exceptional. And I just want to say, I went to a few of the back-to-school nights so far. Tonight's the last one for Valley Road, or excuse me, tonight's the last back-to-school night that's taking place at Valley Road, and I think the school year has been kicking off to a great way, and I'm very grateful for that. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hund.
Thank you, Council President. I have the Clark Police Department report for August 2025. We saw a total of 1,862 calls. 766 came via 911 for services including but not limited to 119 ambulance requests, 89 alarm calls, 1 attempt/burglary, 72 fire department requests, 5 fraud identity thefts, 4 motor vehicle and residential lockouts, 69 motor vehicle accidents, 21 shoplifting and thefts, and 1,482 miscellaneous calls. There was a total of 15 adult arrests, including but not limited to 2 for warrants, 10 for shoplifting, 1 for theft, 1 for criminal mischief, and 1 for simple assault. The Youth Aid Bureau handled a total of 20 cases, including but not limited to 1 for burglary, 1 for theft, 6 for shoplifting, and 1 for short-term custody. And that concludes the report for August.
Thank you. Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes, thank you, Council President. This is my DPW report for this evening. Electric drop-off will be at the DPW yard behind this building on September 27th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Your ID is required. For grass pickup, please, ladies and gentlemen, grass clippings only. No branches, twigs, plastic, etc. Our DPW staff will be conducting random checks of the grass and the leaf bags. And if there's something in there, they will not pick it up. We have been having a lot of other debris in the grass bags. Please keep it grass clippings only. To schedule any DPW services, go to www.ourclark.com and click on the tab for online services. This covers permits, appliance pickup, tree trimming, tree removal, permits, potholes, etc. For your bulky pickup, no appointment is required. You just put it out by ward, and we're picking up, as I said, by ward. It must be out curbside on 6 a.m. on the Monday of your prescribed pickup. Okay, small items must be bagged. Paint and chemicals will not be permitted or picked up. Please refer to ourclark.com website for acceptable and unacceptable items. Please remember that. Appliance pickup, appointments are required. By Tuesday, the week before your scheduled pickup, please let us know what appliances and metal pickup you would like to have picked up. Final branch pickup for this year, for 2025, can be placed out this week on September 22nd. Must be curbside at 6 a.m. Please remember this. DPW has been busy with creek cleanup. Please do not put branches, grass, leaves, firewood, recycled, totes, or other debris on the river edge banks. We have removed over 120 yards of debris so far. So we don't want to have an event where we get a large rain event and all the debris from your yards go into the creek. What's going to happen? It's going to block up everything, and everybody in the area of the creek is going to flood. So please remember, don't put any of the branches next to the river bed or in the river. Email dpw@rclock.com for more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Minitti.
Thank you, Council President. I'll be doing the Fire Department report and the Emergency Squad report. So, in August, the Clark Fire Department responded to 74 calls, bringing their total to 452 for the year. Incidents include 10 for fire-related, 8 for rescue and emergency management, 12 for hazardous conditions, 10 for service and good intent calls, 32 related to false alarms, and 2 for special incidents. The Clark Fire Department is looking for new members. If you or anyone you know is interested in joining the department, please contact the fire department through their website at clarkfd.info. That's clarkfd.info. And as always, I would like to thank the members of the fire department for their dedication and hard work keeping our residents safe. Clark Volunteer Emergency Squad report. Recent squad activities. In August, the squad added 1 new probationary member. Squad currently has ambulance 515 back and awaiting state inspection, anticipating having it in service within a week. Please check for the recent fund drive requests and support us the best as you can. Congratulations to our 3 probationary members that completed their EMT training at Union County College and passed the National Registry Certification exam on their first attempt. Congrats to Derek Calderon, Maddie Caputo, and Stephen Zwartak. Call volumes are as follows. In September, we responded to 120 calls with 2 mutual aid calls. This doesn't include any calls which were dispatched to and canceled on. Total hours responding to calls is approximately 773 man-hours. This does not include any hours the members are on duty when not on calls. Year-to-date call volume is 917 calls. As for our membership, for those who would like to assist the squad but may not have time to do their EMT training, we are accepting applications for people who are interested in becoming drivers for the ambulance. Must be 18 years old with a clear driving record. Anyone interested can email us at www.rclark.org or membership@clarkems.org. That's membership@clarkems.org. Service to the community. The squad hosted 4 blood drives in August, but will be back in its monthly schedule for the fall. The squad attended National Night Out and studied multiple house fires with 1 patient transported to RWJ Cooperman Barnabas Medical Center in Livingston. Respectfully submitted, Lori Sheldon, trustee. That concludes my reports. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Toll.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the Environmental Commission's desk of the Chairman, Mark Hayden, the annual reservoir cleanup's coming up this Saturday, October the 18th, from 9 to 12. They meet in front of the circular driveway of the Brewer Municipal Building. They get together and they take the teams and they go out and they tackle the reservoir to get this kind of stuff off of the waterways. We want to keep our Mother Nature and our bit of Clark clean, safe, and enjoyable. So it's a beautiful sight, especially at this time of the year with the seasons just about to change in about another couple of weeks. But it's just to come out and help Mother Nature and to teach the kids the value of keeping God's nature needs a little assistance from time to time. The other issue I was going to talk about is Denman and Riverside Drive. This past Saturday, my phone blew up from a dear friend and neighbor, and that person called me to tell me there was all hell breaking loose on Denman Avenue, cul-de-sac, Riverside Drive. I'm not going to mix the two together. I'm going to go slow. It started at Denman and went over into the backyards of Riverside Drive. If nobody knows where that is, that's right over Westfield Avenue Bridge on the left, that little cul-de-sac. And what happened was somebody on the Parkway decided to steal a car and ended up being chased by Woodbridge PD and the state police. And they ended up not getting off at exit 135. They ended up dumping the car and getting into the backyards of the residents at Denman Avenue. Denman Avenue is on the Westfield Avenue curve. I'm not going to give you directions right now. I'm just going to say to you, all hell broke loose where a fugitive was loose in the streets of Clark, went from Denman, jumped into the backyard of Riverside Drive, and the residents, cul-de-sac, the residents were, again, put in a situation where, thank God for the state police, the Woodbridge police, and our own Clark police that were there to assist, to make sure our residents were safe. When your phone rings from your constituents and they're telling you what's going on, they want to know the answers. And when we can just get them that information from our Clark police, making sure they're safe, which I was able to get there the next day and be there to hear their grievances, not just on that issue, but other issues like road conditions, which we're going to address in the coming days. But for now, I just want to publicly thank State Police, Woodbridge Police, our Clark Police for being assisting in anything they can to keep this township safe. It's the number one thing we've got to do. That's all I've got, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Before I do the pool and rec report, I just want to thank all the senior citizens who turned out for the barbecue today at the Deutscher Club. It was a great turnout. And also want to thank all the citizens who attended the 9/11 ceremony last Thursday. In regards to pool and rec, the pool closed on Labor Day, and the day after they had the doggy dip, which was another success. Registration for the fall classes is ongoing. Ralph asked if you're interested, please sign up as soon as possible so none of the classes need to be canceled. The Union Italian American Festival will be held on October 9th through the 12th in the parking lot of the Brewer Recreation Facility. It's a great community event. If you are interested in volunteering, please contact Ralph Bernardo at 732-428-8400 or email rbernardo@ourclark.com. And all proceeds from the Unico Festival are given back to the community in the form of scholarships to high school seniors, as well as donations to Clark organizations and other worthwhile charities. And lastly, the annual Trunk or Treat is scheduled for Saturday, October 25th from 12 to 2 p.m. in the Brewer Recreation parking lot. Ralph added a few things to the event this year, but there'll be the rides, games, contests, plenty of candy, and much more. And the PBA helps run that with Ralph. If you are interested in donating 2 or 3 hours of your time and your vehicle and some candy, please contact Ralph, as we always do need more people to give out candy. And that's all I have this evening. All right, at this time, we will move on to ordinances, appropriations, and claims.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the record, no objections have been received in connection with the proposed ordinances. First ordinance is 25-26, an ordinance to amend Chapter 248 entitled Peddling and Soliciting, Section 248-4B13 of the Code of the Township of Clark.
All right, at this time, I'm going to open this to the public hearing. If anyone would like to come forward on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please do so. You'll have 5 minutes of duration. Okay, seeing no one, I'd like a motion to close.
Moved.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti, and second, Councilman Hun. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, can I get a motion to adopt the ordinance?
I'll move that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hun. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Any discussion? Jim, do you have anything to add?
Just as a summary, this is to be in compliance with the new contractor for state fingerprinting. So we're just changing our ordinance to be consistent with the new law, new vendor.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Maniti,
Yes.
Councilmember Toll,
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted. Next ordinance is 25-27, an ordinance to amend Chapter 347 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 36A entitled Left Turns of the Code of the Township of Clark.
All right, at this time, I'll open up the ordinance for the public hearing. If anyone would like to come forward, please state your name and the town you live in. You'll have 5 minutes or duration. All right, seeing no one, I'd like a motion to close. Thank you, Councilman Toll, and second, Councilman Hun. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, can I get a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Can I get a second?
Second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hun. Jim?
As we discussed at the last meeting, the workshop meetings, there are 6 changes. There's a left-hand turn coming out of Manny's, Hackensack Meridian, the Exxon on Central, Westfield Avenue for the new 7 Brew, the Clark Bagels, or behind Clark Bagels, and then Hyatt Hills. So these are the changes that we're making.
Great, thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff,
Yes.
Councilmember Hund,
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella,
Yes.
Councilmember Maniti,
Yes.
Councilmember Toll,
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted. Next ordinance is 25-28, an ordinance amending Chapter 3 entitled Administration of Government, Article 6 entitled Township Clerk, Section 3-14 of the Code of the Township of Clark.
Okay, at this time, I'll open a public hearing on this ordinance. If anyone would like to come forward, you'll have 5 minutes or duration. Please state your name and the town you reside in. Okay, seeing no one, I'd like a motion to close.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti. Get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, get a motion to adopt the ordinance.
A motion?
Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Jim, do you have anything to add other than we're just establishing deputy township clerk position?
And identifying what their responsibilities are. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff,
Yes.
Councilmember Hund,
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella,
Yes.
Councilmember Maniti, Councilmember Toll,
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted.
Okay, when you're ready, we can move to introduction of proposed ordinances.
Thank you. The first ordinance for introduction is ordinance number 25-29, an ordinance to amend Chapter 84 entitled Animals to change the office to which an application for a license to operate a kennel, pet shop, shelter, or pound is made, and to prohibit the sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits by retail pet stores in the Township of Clark.
Great, thank you. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Can I get a second?
Second it?
Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. Any discussion? Jim, do you have anything to add?
Well, before we go through the details, I just want to make a comment about this. I'm pleased tonight that the council has put this on the agenda, and hopefully they'll fully support it, which I anticipate they will based on our discussions and the presentation that was made to us. And I can tell you, I've been meeting a lot of people around town, and they were very excited when I told them about this. All had adopted pets, or from shelters, from other states that they brought in, and were very sympathetic towards this. So I'm pretty excited about this ordinance.
Great, thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure everybody realizes it is the prohibiting sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits, but we still have the option that a pet rescue organization wants to use space or do an adopt a pet. I mean, we made sure that we would still be available to do that, because that's the whole intention, is to drive people from buying pets that were in puppy mills to, adopting pets. So if we make it easier for them, that's also still going to be available to the residents.
Great, thank you. Anyone have any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Manitti.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
The public hearing on this ordinance will be October 20th. Okay. Next ordinance is 25-30, an ordinance to amend Chapter 195 entitled Land Use and Development, Section 195-160 entitled Permitted Signs, subsection D entitled LCI Zone of the Township of Clark.
Get a motion?
Yes, I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Can I get a second? Second. Thank you, Councilman Toll. Any discussion? Jim? Good.
This is just to clear up some, gray areas as part of our regulations or our ordinances. So in the past, we had people coming if they wanted to put additional signs on their buildings. This creates a framework that you could go in and not have to have a variance for, some signs. It can't be as big as the front sign. It could only be 75%. So we controlled it that way, and it's similar to other municipalities, just to make it easier to avoid having to put in, I won't say rubber stamp, but,
Cut out the red tape.
variances that, don't really cause any issue to the residents.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Manitti.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Public hearing on this ordinance is October 20th.
Great, thank you. Councilman Manitti, you going to do this for Councilman O'Connor? I believe you reviewed the bills with him.
We reviewed the current and capital expenditures received and encumbered through September 12, 2025, in the amount of $348,012.47.
Great, thank you. All right, at this time, we're going to go to the citizens' hearing on the agenda. I'll open the meeting for anything that is on the agenda. The public comment portion of the meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the Code of the Township of Clark. Each person addressing the council shall give their name and the town in which they reside to the clerk. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and shall not exceed 5 minutes or duration. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his or her discretion, may choose to respond or not respond. So at this time, it's open to agenda items only. If anyone would like to come forward.
Good evening, Delia Collins, Clark, New Jersey. I'm so happy that Mr. Ulrich brought up the portion of the proposed ordinance 25-29, that it will not prohibit our local rescue groups and our own shelter in Newark to come into town to do an adoption day. Usually at an adoption day, the not purchase, but when you adopt an animal, it's considered a donation, not a sale. I have a question on 25-30. What is an LCI zone?
Limited commercial, industrial,
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it is. There's
Yeah, because I
abbreviations,
tried
they
to
got a million
Google it
of
and
them,
it
but
didn't
yeah.
come up.
I think it's limited commercial industrial. I could tell you, I'll send you an
No,
email tomorrow.
I never saw that before.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Delia.
Hi, Larry Cohen, Fanwood, New Jersey. I want to thank you so much for introducing this ordinance and your due diligence throughout this process, especially in indulging me as I try to inform you on this. I've promised to provide you with facts throughout this process, and I just wanted to give you a couple tonight. I have been pouring through the breeder lists that the stores have submitted to their licensing towns. And I started with the 5 stores that publicly call themselves the Coalition of Responsible Pet Stores. If you remember last time we talked about horrible 100 breeders, these breeders that may not have official USDA violations but still have egregious state violations or other issues that warrant them being on this notorious list. For these 5 stores, I found 10 horrible 100 breeders. That's a preliminary number. I don't want to give a final number on a couple more until I get confirmation, but I think that number will go up. And that's only 5 stores. There's 18 in the state. My strong guess is that the next time I see you, I will have gone through the rest of the lists, and we will have a plethora of breeders that these stores are using that unfortunately have appeared on these lists. So I applaud you, and I want to assure you you're doing the right thing, and thank you again so much.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Hello and good evening. My name is Ariel Lefkowitz, and I live in Jersey City. I am a resident of New Jersey, born and raised here, and am also a public policy specialist with the Stop Puppy Mills campaign at Humane World for Animals, formerly known as Humane Society of the United States. And I know that my friend and colleague Larry has spoken with you all previously on the ordinance 25-29. I just want to repeat his sentiments to thank you sincerely for your attention to this issue, for introducing this ordinance. I think that prevention is key when it comes to the issue of the puppy mill to pet shop pipeline, and stopping that before it ever becomes a problem for the residents and pets of this city. I also want to just offer myself as a resource. Our team collects information on this issue and produces the Horrible 100 report. So if there are any questions that I can answer as we move forward, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out, Ariel. Hopefully you'll visit us again someday.
Good evening, John Grease from Clark. I just had a couple quick questions about the IT contract that is in the agenda. It seems like the cost is around like $86,000 a year. Is that correct? Something in that? That ballpark though, right?
$80,956.
Okay. So I was just curious, is that just for municipal services? Is that covering police and EMT and other things too? Or what part of? Okay, so $80,000 a year just for the municipal services. And then the other question I had is I was able to look and find there was a statement about how the different vendors were weighed. I was just curious because I only saw Mr. Ulrich's signature on it. We have the IT director, I believe it's Mr. Klee. Was he part of the decision making on that?
He had input, but the decision was mine.
Okay, all right. So just wanted to know those details. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greaves. Anyone else like to come up on agenda items only? Okay, seeing no one, I'd like a motion to close this portion. Thank you, Councilman Toll, and thank you, Councilman Hunt, for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, when you're ready, Madam Clerk, we can move to resolutions.
Thank you. The first resolution is award of contract for information technology, cybersecurity managed services to Lawsoft Incorporated, 15 Hamburg Turnpike, Bloomingdale, New Jersey, through the competitive contracting process.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. Anything else to add on that, Jim?
Yeah, well, we had a lot of proposals. We actually had 9 different vendors coming in. Some were a little out of our price range, $1 million plus for the work, but we evaluated the vendors, and based on all of the analysis that we did, especially since Lawsoft is currently our desktop support provider right now, and would be able to manage all of our additional services that we need. This is critical from a cyber risk perspective, but also from our cyber insurance. Some of the controls that we needed to put in place will now reduce our copay and deductible to zero when we get to it. So, God forbid there is a cyber breach. They do a review after to make sure that you had what controls you have in place, and some of the ones we needed third-party providers to do it because we just don't have the expertise within the township or the bandwidth.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Further discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Minity.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the sale of certain property located on Block 125, Lot 11 on Halliday Street, which is owned by the Township of Clark, not required for public purposes pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-1 et sec.
Thank you. Get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Second? Second. Thank you, Councilman Minetti. Jim, you have anything?
Nothing other than it's a piece of property that, we could sell off and get rid of the responsibility for maintaining, cleaning, and liability.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, if not, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Minity.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Next is renewing participation in the Arrive Together program to enhance and support response to certain behavioral health crisis calls through June 30th, 2026.
Get a motion?
A motion?
Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. Can I get a second? Thank you,
Second that, please.
Councilman Hund. Jim, anything to add other than
No, this has been a successful, well, I say no and then I add, but this has been a successful program that we've had, that we send a behavioral health expert out with the police officer in, certain situations. We provide a police officer to the county. It's a countywide program, as do all the other municipalities. So we support it. One day it's our patrolman, next day could be Westfield County Patrol. So, this is a program that's been very successful over the last year, and we're going to continue.
Great, thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Minity.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Number 9 is award of contract to Stillo Paving and Excavating for the 2025 capital road improvements, various locations, in the amount of $277,026.42.
Have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. Any discussion other than it's for the road improvements?
It's an easy one. That's low bidder road improvements.
Yep. Very good, thank you. And roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Minity.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Number 10 is authorizing assignment of the current recycling contract from Grand Sanitation Service to Interstate Waste Services of New Jersey Incorporated.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Yes, I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Can I get a second? Thank you, Councilman Hund. I guess basically Interstate Waste Services purchased Grand Sanitation, and they're just assuming all the assets, all the contracts, and all their routes.
Correct. No change in anything. And they've supplied us with all of their state-required documents, similar to what we went through when we brought in Grand originally.
Great, thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Minity.
Yeah.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Number 11 is authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a developer's agreement with G7B LLC, which is 7 Brew.
Can I get a motion?
I'll move that.
Thank you. Councilman Minetti, can I get a second?
I'll Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. And anything to add, Jim, or discussion or questions?
This is, a standard agreement. It's for 1005 Raritan Road. It's approximately a 5,100 square foot building with 2,600 square feet of detached canopy. And like we've done with all of these agreements, it just goes through that, it memorializes everything that was approved by the planning board, that the construction will be in accordance with the approved plans, that they're going to get the permits, that they're going to provide access to the township engineer for all ordinance approvals, disconnect all the abandoned existing utilities, ensure stormwater management and JDEP regulations are approved, that they're going to, the Raritan Road driveway is going to be subject to Union County approval. They're going to pay all taxes and fees and deposits before building. They're going to have the bathrooms for the construction workers. They're going to have an on-site supervisor at all times. They're going to be responsible for all utility costs, including NJDEP and sewer. Garbage recycling is going to be done at the developer's expense. Performance guarantees, and the performance guarantees prior to the construction permits being issued. They're going to have a letter of credit and surety bond of $75,640. They're going to have a safety and stabilization guarantee of $5,000. Engineer's escrow of $15,376, and inspection fees for the engineer and legal of $13,760. They're going to have to maintain commercial liability insurance and motor vehicle liabilities, workers' comp, certificates to, and then all the certificates need a 60-day notice of cancellation. Any defaults, they have a 48-hour cure period. They may use streets for excavation. Construction must avoid damage and notify us within 24 hours in advance. The agreements are going to be recorded in the clerk's office and acknowledge all site plans and resolution material between the township and the planning board. So again, standard wording, high level, that's all the things that they're agreeing to.
Thank you for the detailed explanation. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Manitti.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Number 12 is award of a non-fair and open contract for the Patriots Night fireworks display on October 3rd to Schaefer Fireworks in the amount of $6,350.
Have a motion, please.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hunt, and thank you, Councilman Hunt, for a second. This is basically, we invite all the veterans to the football game on Friday night, October 3rd, and we have a fireworks display. We introduce them all, have them out at midfield, and the players run out with flags, and it's a great event, and it's another fun thing and great thing that the town puts together for our veterans. Anything else to add, Jim, or that's about it? All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Manitti.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Okay, number 13 is authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with the County of Union and HVI Services for leaf composting at the Union County Conservation Center in the amount of $6 per cubic yard loose or $8 compacted.
Have a motion, please.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Second. Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. Jim, you have anything to add?
This is a county contract that we're leveraging to get the best price and economies of scale.
Great,
It
thank
would
you.
be much more expensive if we were doing it on our own.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Manitti.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes.
Number 14 is appointing Eric Gerstner as alternate one member of the Planning Board to fill the unexpired term of William Gribb, Jr. until December 31st, 2025, and appointing Matthew Cecil as alternate 2-member until December 31st, 2026.
Get a motion, please?
A motion.
Thank you, Councilman Hoff. Get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti. Self-explanatory, so roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Minetti. Yes. Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes. When you're ready, we can move on to consent agenda resolutions.
The following items are considered routine and non-controversial items by the Township Council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on, following the approval of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda. The first item is appointing Christy Vieira as alternate Insurance Fund Commissioner to serve on the New Jersey Municipal Self-Insurers Joint Insurance Fund. 16 is authorizing the tax collector to make the proper adjustments for 100% property tax exemption of Block 115, Lot 4, in accordance with a directive from the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. 17 is authorizing the tax collector to settle a tax appeal for Block 69, Lot 12.0101, as authorized by the Tax Court of New Jersey, with credit issued in the amount of $23,756.32. And 18 is authorizing the tax collector to refund overpayment of sewer fees in the amount of $509.16.
Great, thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Can I get a second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hoff.
Yes.
Councilmember Hund.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilmember Minetti.
Yes.
Councilmember Toll.
Yes.
Council President Smith.
Yes. Is there any new business on the calendar?
There is no new business.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to public comments. At this time, I'll open the meeting to the public. The public comment portion of the meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the Code of the Township of Clark. Each person addressing the council shall give their name and town in which they reside to the clerk. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and shall not exceed 5 minutes of duration. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his or her discretion, may choose to respond or not respond. So at this time, you can come up. You have 5 minutes to ask anything or any comments.
My name is Janice Guglielmi, and I live on Denman Avenue in Clark. So I had a question because, of course, the incident you were talking
Can you lower the microphone and speak into it a little bit?
Okay. So the other day, I was in my kitchen, and I looked out, and there was about 8 cop cars. So it's a little scary when you're on a dead-end street. So there was another incident on Thursday where there was a stolen white box truck that came off the parkway, and that was the state police because they were looking in my yard. So that happened on Thursday, and then 2 days later on Saturday, there was the incident that you were speaking of. Then a friend of mine had on her Ring camera on Lexington Avenue, a white car that, was being chased, ended up in her driveway, and the person fled towards my house. So I was just curious if that was a different incident than the one that happened like the same night. Was there 2 separate incidences, or was that the same?
I'm going to refer that to the police department.
Actually, Captain Akabu.
You can give her any input because of one incident.
Actually, if you do want to speak, if you can either sit at the chair, turn that microphone on, or come up to the podium.
Yes, I believe that was 2 separate incidents from what occurred on Saturday night to the incident she was talking about on Thursday.
Right, and then Saturday, was that 2 separate, or was that the same person?
I believe it was separate incidents.
3 incidences within 2 days. I mean, I commend the police are amazing in our town. I love them, but it's like scary because it's like I live on, a dead end, so I think what's happening is people are coming off the parkway, they think my street is a through street, and I don't know if they need to put a bigger sign or do some, I don't know what the answer is, but like to have that happen, like within a few days of each other, and 3 separate incidences when a suspect is like coming through your yard, or the state police have to call you and say, oh, can we check your shed? That's pretty scary. Because I have a mom who lives with me who's 83, and I have an 18-year-old daughter who sunbathes in the backyard still. So, you know, I don't know if they could, so the fence that would like line up against my yard, is that like the property for the, you know, state, or is that county or town? Because I'm thinking like maybe they could put barbed wire on the top to kind of deter them from climbing over.
Do you know that fence, if it's county or state? Does it run along the parkway or along the reservoir?
I'm on the parkway.
Okay.
Right on the-
Yeah, I believe that's state. But just for the record, I'll look into it more, and I'll get back on that, so we can have actual facts on that.
Janice, if you want to just, when you're at the end of the meeting, just give your number to the clerk, and she can get that over to Captain Akabu, or if you have an email as well, and he can get back to you.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much for coming up.
Nancy Twaskis Clark. So when there's property that's sold, like was the one that was discussed today, I'm just curious, is it a neighbor that, is it next to the property that usually buys it, or is it sold to somebody totally different and they use it for something else? Because I expect that it's a lot that's not a buildable lot.
It goes to the highest bidder.
Goes to the highest, so you don't know what's going to wind up
I
on
think the
that.
minimum bid on that property is $255,000 when I read the ordinance or the resolution. So, yeah, the highest bidder, and sometimes it is the adjoining homeowner on one side or the other. But most of those lots are smaller and are not buildable.
So you just kind of see what happens on them. I mean, whatever they're going to do with the lot would have to go through the construction department with the permitting, I guess.
Yeah, if they want to make any change, have to go through zoning first, right? If they want to do anything with it.
Yeah, anything's going to have to, if it's not a lot that's in compliance, depending on what the issues are, it may have to go to zoning, may have to go to the planning board. So it, you know, it's really, you know, depending on what they want to do, and if they just want to add it to their house, you know. I can't tell you, I don't know the house next to it. You know, maybe they have some extra property and they can, you know, subdivide it and do something. But again, it was appraised by our independent appraiser who comes up with an estimated price. That's what we put in as the minimum price, and then we send it out to bid. So, you know, sometimes the neighbor gets it, sometimes a third party gets it and builds on it.
Okay. I mean, it seems like a good idea to not have this miscellaneous property hanging around that we have to go and mow the lawn and rake leaves and so on and so forth. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the other question I have is on number 11. What is it, on the resolution 11? Is there going to be a 7 brew built in town? Maybe I missed out on a couple planning board meetings, so I don't really know
Yes,
about that.
there's a 7 brew going in on the corner of Westfield and Raritan where the Santander Bank was. The Santander Bank's going to be knocked down, and the 7 brew is going to be set back on the property.
Oh, okay, and that's, from what I saw, it's some type of drive-through, get your coffee.
I think it's just a drive-through and walk-up.
Drive-through
There's
and
no
walk-up.
inside.
Okay.
Correct.
And the last thing, I'll bring it up again, and I don't mean to be a complaining neighbor, but it's more for the town to kind of explain why we would have ordinances on the books but not enforce them. Now, one we talked about were the signs that couldn't be on the easement. I know the DPW was going around and taking the signs off. Well, I still see them on some easements. I'm not going to get into that. But the other thing is about the on-street parking of commercial vehicles. And, I mean, I don't really want to be calling up the police department complaining about my neighbors, and I try to be a good neighbor. I would do anything for my neighbors in the time of need. But me as a taxpayer, I look at it from a financial perspective, and I'm paying taxes for a residential neighborhood. I think it's R7 or exactly what number it is, 75, I don't know exactly on the zone it is. So it just makes me a little bit, if we want to let commercial vehicles park all over all residential streets, then get rid of the ordinance or give me a break on my taxes if I'm going to be having to look at trucks and vans with commercial names on them and licenses, and some of them sit there for days and weeks and don't move. So, like I said, I would do anything for any of my neighbors, but it does kind of bother me that I pay taxes for a residential area, yet ordinances are not being enforced. And I'm not saying to be mean about it. I don't really know what they should do, park in the driveway, park in the garage if they can, rent space somewhere. I see Emerald, not landscaping, sprinkler systems, they're parked at Mother Seton. I'm sure they're paying Mother Seton to park there. There are different options in order to store your vehicle overnight instead of storing it on the street. I know it's convenient. You would just want to drive home and park your vehicle. But it's really not fair to somebody that has to sit in their living room and look out their front door and see commercial vehicles and pay high taxes on top of it. So, I brought it up one other time, maybe a nice article in the Clark paper. I know
About 30 seconds of the 5
Okay.
minutes, so.
Just something like that. Maybe the neighbors don't even know what the ordinance is. It might just be a letter to inform them what the ordinance is. So, but just something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. If you have specific instances or issues, there's no harm in either calling or emailing the clerk or emailing the business administrator, saying so-and-so truck's been out here, and then we can dispatch out our code enforcer and keep an eye on it and then enforce the codes like we're supposed to. So what? Well, we don't have police driving up and down the street, so we have no idea. Like, I have no idea how long a vehicle is parked on the street or in my complex. I live in a townhouse complex now in Log Cabin, but when I lived on Charles Street, I had no idea. I know Mike from Bistro lived down the street from me, and his truck was there during the morning and gone at night, so it was never there more than a couple of days. So it's unless someone observes it and informs us about it, we don't know about it. So we really ask you to let us know. All right, thank you. Anyone else like to come forward?
Julia Collins Clark. Just wanted to let the listening and viewing audience know that Thursday night, September 18th, the Union County Commissioners meeting will be held. And if people have concerns regarding anything to do with the reservoir, since they've put out a press release regarding what is happening over there, this is a statement that I put out. Even though they hardly ever respond to your concerns at these meetings, importantly that your concerns are now visible and recorded on public record. So when you go there, there are towns that show the meeting on their public access channel. The county itself does not have a public access channel, so you have to search around on YouTube to find the county meeting. And I wanted to know, the county had said that they were going to be sending out to the township the new rendering of what they're planning to do at the reservoir, and I was wondering if the town had received it yet? Okay, thank you. Another question, on ourclark.com, you used to go in and you could go to the pay online site and find out where lots, blocks, and qualifiers were. Now you have to sign in to go on to that area, and because that's how I find out who owns what property in town. I used to go on the pay online site. Is there somewhere else that I could go, or do I have to sign on to that?
That I don't know the answer on. Jim will check.
It's under pay online.
Deal, you have any other questions? I don't want you to run out of your 5 minutes if you have any while he's looking that up.
No, that's it.
Okay, all right.
Just make sure if you have any questions with the commissioners, you go or you email them, because they do respond, not immediately, but we've gotten some answers, and with the dredging.
Great.
It will affect aquatic life and fish and turtles. They may be eliminated.
Yeah, you could pay online. You don't have to log in.
No, I'm just trying to, when I go to find out who owns what property in town, when you say.
Well, you can't because of Daniel's Law.
Who?
The owners of the property has been removed because of Daniel's Law. We discussed that
okay.
about
Yeah,
4
I know
months
what
ago.
that is. So is there another way to find out if you can go on the site anywhere to find out who owns property in town?
You probably would have to go in, check with the tax assessor, who then would know if there's a Daniel's Law property and, what could be released and what can't be released.
Okay, all right, well, I'm going to try first on this because okay, thank you.
Thank you, Delia.
They said the only people that are not there are people for Daniel's Law.
Should we clarify that? So, Delia, so if you look up a street name, you'll see everything. What Jim was saying is that anyone that's to be excluded because of Daniel's Law, those will be excluded, but you'll see basically the others. Okay?
Good evening, Martha Kamachoff Clark. It's been a busy couple days. September 11th, I want to thank you for airing on YouTube the entire service. First time in 24 years I was not able to attend, but I was texting with Roseanne Thursday night, and she said it was wonderful. So thank you for that. Saturday, I live on Riverside Drive in the cul-de-sac. What do we have? 5, 6 houses down there. And our Ring cameras were all going off as all the police cars were pulling onto the street. Our neighbors were actually coming home from church and saw the guy jump over their fence from the fence on Denman. It was scary. The occupant of the vehicle, obviously, we knew, fled on the parkway, got out, jumped the fences, somehow got back over, I don't know how, but I commend the Clark Police Department fully, their quick response along with Woodbridge and the state police. We felt very safe, very secure, knowing they had the whole situation under control. And the neighbors, thank you for that very much. Okay, that's Saturday. Sunday, thank you, Councilman Toll, for coming into our cul-de-sac again. Kind of called him, there for a different reason, but he reached out to 4 of us, 4 of the houses were out on the street, and he really showed concern for all of my neighbors. He knows me, but he knows them just knocking door to door. And he showed the deepest concern for everybody's safety and that everybody felt secure in the area. Okay, that was Sunday. Monday, today's Monday. Mayor, Township Committee, thank you for the wonderful senior barbecue today. I think everyone that went there had a great time. The music was great. People out there dancing away. It was a wonderful event. And, the police presence there by our administration was welcome as well. The seniors like to see that. They love to see you guys. They love to see, the police. So I thank you for that as well. And I think that's it. I think I covered every day. Okay. So thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Martha.
Good evening again, John Greaves from Clark. I just kind of wanted to talk about a couple things. The first thing was, last meeting, I got a little frustrated because there was an interruption, but, You know what, I think that illustrates one of the things that I've kind of brought up is that, sometimes this format of making statements for 5 minutes isn't always the best. Sometimes we need a little bit of back and forth where someone's speaking, maybe there's something you want to talk about and they want to go back and forth. And what I wanted to see is if we can start having some town halls a few times a year. From what I can tell, the last one was like in 2017 when there was the affordable housing thing. But it's just not very common, and I don't think that it's necessarily has to be some big event. Maybe it should just be quarterly, or it doesn't have to be every meeting. But I think that having an open public dialogue is important and would basically make it so sometimes residents don't want to sit through some of the boring elements of the town meeting in order to make their sentiments known. So there's that, and then sort of in the same vein, I'm very in favor of transparency. And, I'd like to see the workshop meetings and especially the special meetings recorded officially. I've been doing it on my phone and, I've been doing my best job, but I think it'd be better if the town could do that officially. The workshop meetings are obviously a little bit less important than the special meetings, but because the special meetings are where actual business gets done, and sometimes that's big things, like a pilot was approved and there's settlements in the past that have been approved at those. And then the other thing was this year's budget, I feel like it was very minimal in the explanation of it. It was just a very short statement read into the record. Our county and our school board both provide presentations. Our county actually does like an actual produced video, and the school board does a PowerPoint. I don't think it has to be some grand, spectacular thing, but it's very common these days to see a PowerPoint presentation, 5 minutes, maybe 10, nothing crazy, a graph or two showing where the money's going. I think that's something important, and I think it'd be an improvement, and it's something that seems well within the power of the council and mayor. And I wanted to say a couple things about pilot again. I know that we disagree about that. So really, I just sort of have some questions because it doesn't seem like certain things are coming out in it. So the issue that I have is, and the questions that I have is if a developer is paying $0 to the school, and you guys say the school gets all the money that they need, and there's students coming to our school from that development, where does the money to pay for those students come from? And then, if there's already an ordinance requiring a set-aside for affordable housing, and the development like Walnut Hill got a pilot, what did the town get for that pilot, that reduction in taxes that they're paying that wasn't already legally required? I feel like we should have gotten something extra in addition. And then the pilot agreement, at some point it says something to the effect of that the council sees that there's more benefit to the town than negative, than burden. And I'm just curious exactly what are the factors that you're looking at when you make that decision? And then just a curiosity thing that I had, a few meetings ago, there was the pilot property that was owned by the former town employee that got a pilot, and then it was sold to another developer, I believe. Mr. Hund abstained from that vote, and I was just curious why. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greaves. Anyone else want to come forward? Okay, at this time, on a motion to close this portion. Thank you, Councilman Toll. Get a second. Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. All in favor? Any opposed? Mayor, you want to address any of those comments? Let's turn the microphone on. Yes, it's closed.
Go through some of the points I want to raise, and then I'll talk about some of the issues that were brought up by Mr. Greaves, as well as some other thoughts about things we've discussed in the past. First thing I want to mention is we just want to inform the citizens that through the program that an arrangement we have with Public Service. When they tear up a road, they have to pave curb to curb. We are saving approximately $1.5 million in this program, so I just want to point that out, because it might not seem obvious. You know, it looks like we're doing roads, but all this is being funded by Public Service because they tore up the roads. And plus, it makes sense, right? We don't want to build a road and then have them tear it up. So it helps them to take care of things that they need to do and not tear up roads that we've just paved. Second thing I want to mention is bulky pickup. We have changed the operations so that starting now, or I guess it was a week ago, or this week, once your ward is up, and I'll explain what that means. So we collect the bulky pickup in the first ward the first week of the month, first Monday, second ward, second Monday, third ward, third Monday, fourth ward on the fourth Monday. You can put out your bulky pickup items on Saturday and Sunday, and they'll be picked up either Monday or Tuesday. Please make sure you don't have to sign up, you don't have to enroll in it. DPW will come by and just pick up whatever you put out as long as it meets the requirements or what is permissible. So please try to put out the permissible items. You can look online as to what they are. So I just want to mention that. Next item, as was mentioned, Patriots Night. If you're a veteran, if you know a veteran, please have them come out. We want to see all the veterans coming out that night on October 3rd to the football game. We're going to have fireworks, etc., and the citizens want to honor them, so please come out that evening. The pet ordinance. You know, we've been warned, and I know some other towns that have gone through this. There's probably going to be a lot of lobbyists here at the next meeting who will be talking against that. And I think we've made up our mind and have the facts that we have. But if you are a pet lover and you want to come out, please do, because I know they're out there. So if you want to come out and talk and say your piece about it and interact with the community, as Mr. Greaves said, have your voice heard, please come out that night. Next item is, I was reminded the other night, or yesterday, I saw a little raccoon paw prints. I have a new deck. Paw prints coming right up to my door, the window there. I guess they were looking in or looking for opportunities, whatever. But there have been, and it's very rare that this happens, but there have been cases of rabies. Be careful with your dogs. Make sure they're not out in areas where raccoons might be, because it's a serious thing, right? And we want to protect the animals. Okay. I think the first thing that Mr. Greaves mentioned was, you know, having town halls. I work in a town with 50,000 people. The mayor has a lot of town halls, and we've had them here. I know when Jessie got on the council, she's like, I'm going to go, you know, I'm going to invite everyone to come and see me and talk to me, and I've done that too. And no one shows up. One person. She had one person in the town with 50,000 people. Sometimes it's 3 people, sometimes it's a dozen, but he still does them, and I get it. But I have to say, I do get a lot of dialogue. I get a lot of requests from people, so please don't hesitate. You can call my personal cell phone number, 732-319-0234. Reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you. Some people feel more comfortable talking one-on-one about their issues or their ideas. Affordable housing. I was at the GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Conference last week, and they had a panel of top reporters in the state of New Jersey. And one of the things that came up was affordable housing, and I asked, do the people understand affordable housing? And they said, absolutely not. They've tried to boil it down to give all the history of it in sound bites, what's happening now. And it's a very complicated thing to understand. But I will say this. The governor, Governor Murphy, changed some of the laws last year in '24. And we've gone through, we had previously gone through 3 rounds of requirements of affordable housing. We must have a plan and we must build affordable housing. It is not a choice. It's not Democrat, it's not Republican. Everyone has to do it because that governor now has added more of a commitment onto our town. In the 4th round, we added 166 units. We have 500 units to fulfill. How do we do that? How do towns do that? We must build apartments. Or there are some other ways. Homes where there are people that are disabled or, different issues. The problem here in Clark is we don't have any homes or that are really for sale that fit the requirements. As we mentioned in the past, we've met with consultants, and they said, really, we don't have anything right now. I am working with one of the Board of Director members of the ARC of Union County. I met him while I was out on the campaign trail, actually, by accident, and he said what some towns are doing is building an additional room so we can add a few units that way, but that's nothing compared to what we're required to do. So what do towns do? What's the solution? Now there's a lot of demand for developers to come to towns. And, I don't want to build a lot of housing in this town. We're overbuilt. Our infrastructure really can't handle it. We're also, when you look around the towns that border us, they've built a lot of affordable housing all around their railroad stations, bus stations, what have you. We don't have that situation here. We don't have buses. We don't have trains that can take people out. So it's hard for those people that are in those units to get around. But at the end of the day, we're competing with all these different, these builders. There's some very large builders. They work on a 10-year cycle. They buy inventory, they take their time, they go where it's convenient, where it makes sense for them to work financially, okay? What I'm trying to say is it's not easy. We're competing with other towns to build affordable housing to meet our requirements. And these judges are serious when they come to us and they're going to look at what we've done on the 3rd round and the 4th round of housing. They're going to be tough. They're not going to be easy on us. They're going to be very demanding. So we have a tool that the Democrats created, that Governor Murphy created, that permits us to create pilots. So instead of paying real estate taxes, the developer makes an arrangement, a 30-year arrangement, to have a structure of escalation that they would pay and a formula of paying for the items. And there's a pretty specific outline that's provided, that's followed. Now, I've heard Mr. Greaves say repeatedly, we didn't make good deals, we didn't make good deals. I haven't heard him, I don't know if he read the agreements, but I think he has. He probably has them all. He's probably Oprah'd every one of them. But I haven't heard him say one specific thing he didn't like about them, just they're not good deals. So I think we're doing the best that we can. We need to be flexible in what we're doing, and we think we're doing what's best for this town. As far as, the felt mill over by Walnut, there weren't that many businesses left there. It was old, it was outdated. So that happened to be one of the areas where affordable housing was built. So hopefully gives you a little insight into it, because I went through a big discussion with some of the people that I met in town, and they said, well, why can't we build commercial properties? That's not going to fulfill the affordable housing requirement. So I'd be interested in hearing about what Mr. Greaves thinks about that and what his solutions might be. I did have a few other comments I wanted to make because some people contacted me over the weekend, I guess the past few days. There was a comment made about, that the town, in 2025, it's not the same as it was in, 1995. And yeah, times change. I mean, ever since the wheel was invented, things change. They're always changing. But he feels that the township council isn't in tune with what's going on and doesn't make these changes. Now, for me, I've lived here 39 years. I wasn't on the council in 1995, but I was here in 2001. And I can tell you that we made a lot of changes here. It wasn't overnight. Why wasn't it overnight? We didn't have a bag of money. As we've talked about, we talked about the fact that, I forget the exact amount of surplus that we had. Mr. Greaves said, yes, you had a surplus, but he forgot to mention what was also outstanding, and that was the liability for the police overtime or PTO time that they could have been paid out. And that was about the same amount. Not exactly, but it was almost zero. But as far as things that changed, we had to be fiscally responsible in the changes that we made. Okay, so I can tell you when my kids were born in the 90s, and there was virtually no recreation programs, no full-time recreation director, no robust summer camps for kids as we have now, or the plethora of summer jobs that we have. The former mayor, me, and the other members of council implemented a recreation program really that is the rival of many neighboring towns throughout this state. Currently, we have more than 100 programs offered to kids and adults in this town. And really, it's really, I'm so proud of it. When we got on council, Jim was on council with me. We ran together with Sal. We didn't have an addition to the library. We went to the council. There was a construction grant that was available. And all members of council, including the Democrats, agreed that we would apply for the grant. And we got the grant. And we had a drawing that would represent the addition. And on the night of the vote, with a standing room only, council chambers, they voted against it. I would say for political reasons, pressure from probably the former mayor. And all those council people lost their election. And that was the end of that. So what were we going to do? And we said, well, you know what? What's the right thing to do? It's going to cost us now. We lost $1 million in grants. But we still went ahead and did it. So we went ahead and built the addition on the library. But the taxpayers had to pay for it, for that $1 million we lost. So again, these are just examples, but I feel like I have to go through this because when you're just a few years here in town, it looks like they're not doing anything because sometimes, you know, it's like the tortoise and the hare. Tortoise wins the race. You do things slowly and progress gets made. When I went on council, I remember the day we got elected, I walked by the Brewer building, and there was all plywood up because there were all broken windows over there. It was terrible. The gym floors, you know, they were deplorable. Since then, we've replaced the floors twice. We started with the top to the bottom. We repaired the roof. We put in air conditioning. We put in a generator. Like I said, we didn't do everything at once, but we continually work on making changes, you know, improving the fields, adding fields in the back of the building. That's the agenda of the council. That's the agenda of this council. That's my agenda, to be, you know, mindful of this youth, senior citizens, and families of this town, to make it a great place to live in that we can all be proud of, and at the same time to be fiscally responsible. You know, we've had probably one of the lower tax increases this year. I know we talked about the presentation, and I did mention what the main items were that increased our taxes. And when you look at the other towns, neighboring towns, their taxes went up significantly. So yes, maybe they had to go into more detail, and maybe we can do that. But if anyone has a question on the budget, that's definitely in my bailiwick, numbers. So please ask me any questions you have. The next thing I was told is he said, you know, the council's not in touch with change. The next generation needs more representation in Clark's leadership. Now, that can be taken many different ways. Is it about elderly people, stale ideas? I'm not sure what he meant, but he said the next generation needs more representation in Clark's leadership. I believe in leadership. It's more about qualifications, not age. Furthermore, our seniors built this town. They paid taxes, invested in our schools. To say they don't deserve representation is wrong. And I'm not saying that's what he meant, but I'm not sure how to interpret it. And based on the election results, we represent everyone that's here. So if you're talking about the council, I think the council represents the seniors, families, and the people in this town, not just one generation. A couple of other comments that were made, like I see and understand things, they don't. Typical of the comments made. I have a better perspective on local government and understands the digital world and how we can use technology. We've made a lot of changes. Jim has been working on a lot of changes in the town to make sure that people can, pay their bills in many different ways. So they don't have to go down to town hall. People are busy. They want to do things easily. So I think we've been addressing those things. And I think we have modern technology. I mean, I have to say, when I went to East Brunswick Township, that was the second town I worked in as a CFO, yes, the individual I replaced was there for 44 years. And I've made a lot of changes, a lot of technology changes, making sure people have the right tools they need to get their work done. I pretty much talked about the tax abatements, so I'm not going to repeat that. These are some of the other points that I had before he made his comments. But the last thing he said he's in favor of transparency. And a couple of people said to me, he blocked me from his website. And I find it really amazing that an individual who talks about transparency and goes on and on about it. I mean, our meetings are recorded, the recordings are there. Yes, they're verbal recordings. But you blocked people from your website, and I'm sure you'll come up and say, well, I let them in. Yeah, but you were shamed into it. I mean, here we're truly transparent. We do what's required. You say we do the minimum. No, we do what is required, okay? The minimum may be equal to the required. But I don't hear many complaints about people saying they didn't get enough information. I know you have a plethora of Oprah requests. I don't expect that will change, but those are my comments and responses. Not only those, some of the things that I wanted to say tonight, and also to respond to the comments made.
Do you want
That
to
concludes
also?
my remarks.
Do you want to just address the last thing, the zero taxes that the developer's paying, and he's saying zero goes to the schools?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, first of all, to explain to the citizens, the county comes up with their budget, the school comes up with their budget, and the township comes up with the municipal budget. With all of those budgets, we come up with a rate of taxes and an amount that we need to collect. We do the collection. We suffer all the bad debts. If someone doesn't pay their taxes, we cover the schools, we give them their money. They get what they need. We are all subject to rules of the state of how much we can raise taxes. And years ago, with the schools, they used to vote on the budget. They got away from that. The state got away from it. They said, listen, as long as you stay within the maximum increase, your budget's fine. And as I said a few months ago, and I know they Oprah'd the email between me and Mr. Grande, our superintendent. Maybe it wasn't you, John, maybe it was Mr. Schulman who Oprah'd that discussion that we had, the email that we had. And he said, they got everything they needed, and as long as they're within that limit, they're getting what they need. If they don't get what they need, there are ways that they can get what they need. They can put up a referendum. As far as the pilots, now this town is very unique. There's maybe one other town that does it or two. Jim knows the answer to this one, because we had a hard time figuring out how to do it. What we did was we said, if the schools were getting a certain amount of money from taxes on a property that was now going to be a pilot, the township's going to take money and give it to the school. We don't know what they do with it. They use it for their operation, or put to good use. Let's put it like that. And that's what we want to do. And that's one of our ordinances, to fund that money back to the schools. So we have been doing that, and we will continue to do that because it's an ordinance that we have to follow. An ordinance is the law. Did you have anything else in mind, Mr. President?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to that.
Councilwoman Hoff.
Thank you, Mayor. I feel like I'm super following you tonight because I was going to talk about the bond, and you talked about the bond and the 9/11 ceremony. Having attended it every year, and this being the first time I participated in it, it really was beautiful. And just again, I'm echoing the mayor, but I want to say it anyway. I know Liz did an amazing job, along with my colleagues up here, our President Smith and Pat O'Connor. So I thought it was a really beautiful, authentic, and emotional way to highlight that very important day. So thank you for allowing me to participate in it and the efforts that went into it. Mayor, stop me if I'm wrong, please, because I'm still getting my feet underneath me. And you have a very amazing, long-standing history up here, but also with your background in your profession. But I think that makes us good balanced with some of the areas that are not my strongest. But from my understanding, what you just explained about the pilot program is the way you're following the laws and the rules for what a pilot program dictates. Hard stop. I wasn't a part of this, so I'm not taking credit for it. But what it sounds like happened is that the town council adopted an ordinance, and just to be very specific about it, it's 2405, to ensure that the Board of Education continues to get its share of the tax revenue, despite redevelopment programs that are in that pilot. And starting with April 10th, 2024, the township will allocate to the Board of Education an amount equal to what they would have collected on that property, with a guaranteed minimum of, from one of the numbers that I saw in the ordinance, it's like they're guaranteed, I believe it's the Walnut Hill project or Walnut Hill development, we're taking $55,000 and change annually at minimum and providing that to the school district. If that's incorrect, please correct me. But statistics are interesting because it's math and it's black and white, but it's also easily manipulated. So I just want to be clear. My understanding is that the pilot program on the surface does not contribute dollars to the school district, but that the town council made a decision out of a way to be respectful of the taxpayers in town and everything else to keep the schools receiving some money that most other towns, to my knowledge, don't do that. And if that's incorrect, if someone could correct me. That's correct. No, right, but what we do, what I just said we do is what we do, or what you guys decided to do, and I get to be a part of it now. So I think that requires, misinformation's not a good thing. Whether you could talk about this on a grand scheme nationally or whatever, but I'm just going to advocate that social media posts are not where you should get information when you can get organic information from the source, and that applies to everything in your life. I think we're being given so many opinions and not necessarily news the way we could. So I would just, on a soapbox, just want to say that. Going back, I went to my first Clark, the senior barbecue today for the first time, and it was amazing. Selfishly, it was amazing because I saw a few of my old teachers, and I got they think my hair color is better now, and it was very nice to see them. And it's true. And I got to, but honestly, I walked up to a table, and it was 4 of my former teachers that are still in town, that are taking part in it, that had such great things to say. And And, you know, that's the opinion I put on social media today. Mrs. Green still looks beautiful and is still fabulous, and a whole bunch of people on social media agreed with me about that. So I thought it was a really nice thing, and congratulations to Ralph and the administration and everyone who put it together. I thought it was fantastic, and it was really, really nice to go and see everybody. So I'm just going to end with concluding that I hope everyone comes and supports the vote tomorrow for the tax-neutral bond vote. That is not going to cost you any more dollars and will help do things that our school district very much needs. So please, while your children are home tomorrow, that's why, because you're supposed to go out and vote. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Hund.
Thank you, Council President. To answer Mr. Gree's question of why I abstained on that vote is the prior interactions in my professional career with some members that were part of the ordinance there. And specifically noted, not because of my real estate license. My full-time job that I do every day for the last 28 years. So don't want to mistake anyone thinking I abstained because it was a real estate transaction. It was not. So if that satisfies you, Mr. Greaves? Okay. No. That's all it is. I wanted to congratulate, I think the mayor and council member have covered a lot of stuff that most likely everyone here would want to have covered, so I'll just skip to some, I agree with everything that they said. So I want to congratulations to Gary, Bill, Eric, and Matthew for being appointed to the planning board. In the 3rd Ward, if you live there, you've noticed. If you're traveling through, you've noticed. But if you haven't come over there, we've had a lot of roads repaved over there. The main one being Valley Road, and then some small streets due to some PSC&G work that the mayor had mentioned earlier. So we have, it's all right around the corner from myself and Mr. Greaves. We have quite a few of the smaller roads were paved over last week. My main concern with the repaving, though, is now that we have a nice, smooth Valley Road, there's a raceway mentality a little bit, where it's very easy to go over the posted speed limit there. So I encourage the residents to maintain the proper speed there, and then also when they cut through on Ross, because those are 2 main roads that people utilize and cut through. And that was all that I had. So that's all my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been here from when this community was a failed community, along with our Mayor Angel, Brian Toll, myself, Jim Ulrich, when this community was a failed community. And we all seen this evolved to where it is today. And I thank you, Mr. Greaves, for your endorsement on our community. How wonderful it really is. It's very safe, clean, relatively affordable community. And how we achieved that was not only ourselves, but with residents with clear eyes to communicate with us rationally. And we acted on most of those, and we didn't on some. But at the end of the day, this community will still be a clean, safe, and relatively affordable community, and we will continue with that mission. We will continue to listen to all the residents. We will continue to act on things that would be good for the community as a whole. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, no affiliation at all. We're here in the same boat, and we're going to do and continue to do what's right for our community. And I commend our mayor for your statements that you had made before, and I don't want to dovetail on any of them. I just want to let the residents know that we thank you for working and partnering with us all these years to create a community, what was almost 30 years, right, Mayor? That we turned this community around, all of us, residents and we on council, all the residents, no matter what affiliation you have. And I get it. I understand. Every cycle, individuals will come up, discuss what we're doing wrong with no viable solutions, no viable way about what they perceive they will do for the community. Until they do that, I take their comments as just hyperbole, nothing. The other thing I want to just mention is our safety. If the residents feel that they're unsafe in some way, whether it be now, especially that school is open and our children are walking around, and there's a lot of vehicles riding around, please be proactive. If you feel uncomfortable about the speed of some vehicles, or if they're driving in a hazardous way, we all pretty much have cell phones. Take a picture of the tag. Call our police department. They're going to investigate it. They're not going to be mad at you. They're going to come out and they're going to ensure your safety. So I think I've said enough tonight. With that, be well, safe, God bless, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti.
Thank you, Council President. Many times we see, either on social media or here, that Clark is compared to other towns. We've seen it in the pilot program. But I want to just address an interesting fact. I pay property taxes in Toms River, and Toms River is getting a 13% increase in their taxes, mainly because of $22 million budget deficit for their schools. Now, that's a number of reasons why. First of all, state aid cuts and things like that. But Toms River Township tried to file for Chapter 9 bankruptcy because of this big deficit, and it caused the taxpayers to have a big increase in their taxes this year. The reason why I bring that up is because I think, in my opinion, that the Board of Education does a tremendous job balancing the budget. And I know for a fact that if they ever did need additional funding, or they ever did have a shortfall, they could come to this administration and ask for more. And as many of you know that lived in this town for any length of time, we haven't seen a 22 or 13% increase or a $22 million budget deficit. Now, I just bring that out because over the last 2 years, I've been hearing how the Board of Education is getting gypped. They're not getting the proper amount of money. And in the meantime, I didn't get a letter from the Board of Education saying, hey, we don't have enough money, you got to give us more. But I hope, and I know that if that ever did come to the situation, they could go to the administration and ask for more. So that's all I want to say about that. The second part of my second comments is that Clark Youth Sports, fall Clark Youth Sports are in full force. We see soccer at Kump and Bartell, so support our fall youth sports. And high school sports are back. The Clark Crusaders are playing at home next Friday night. Come out and support them. And finally, as the president of the ALJ Booster Club, the Booster Club is a nonprofit that raises money to give back to our student athletes at ALJ. We actually pay for the student athletic dinner in June, where all the athletes come out for their final farewell onto their colleges or whatever. We also give 8 to 10 scholarships annually to student athletes. And this is our membership drive. So if you have a student in ALJ, it is important to be a part of the Booster Club because you have to be a member of the Booster Club for 3 out of the 4 years to qualify for a scholarship. And finally, I think one of the greatest things that we do is that when you see an athlete walking around the township with their jackets on and that big letter, we actually pay for those. So it's important that we continue to raise money. You'll see us at the snack stand on Friday nights, cooking hamburgers, hot dogs, serving the community and the surrounding communities, but it's important, and I ask for, you know, all your contributions, or can I say your membership is important, and I thank you. With that, that concludes my comments, and thank you, Council President.
Councilman Toll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to wrap up, and the way I go. Let your voice be heard on September the 16th, 2025. You have a house, you pay taxes, your house is an investment. I don't have kids in the school system, but my house is my investment. What I'm saying to you is my house is connected to the schools. The schools and the school administrators have asked for funding to do a long-term improvement of the schools to make the schools better, a better investment. My house, the schools. Why am I getting up and going voting tomorrow? Because the schools have asked us to help them long-term investment for the property, the capital improvement projects, and make those schools a part of our community for the next 25 years or plus. I won't be around, but I will. Hopefully my house will be in the hands of a young couple who will turn around and say, hey, we love this town. That's why my house is only down the street from Cum's school. It's a walking distance. I'm investing in my town. I'm voting for my town. I ask you to do the same tomorrow. Get up the hours. I'm going to ask the clerk to repeat the hours tomorrow, and you go to your voting place where you went last November, the 24th election, 2024, and go tomorrow to vote for investing in your house, your kids, and the Township of Clark's public school system. We need your vote. You got to help keep this town growing. Let's get into the other issues. Jennifer, Martha. I said it to you, Martha, at your street with your residents yesterday. It doesn't happen in Clark. It's very rare. It's a strange set of circumstances where you had 3 events, now we hear 3, happening. It doesn't happen in Clark, but it does every 30 years or so. And I went back and I thought, when I left your street, Martha, I remember there was an incident close to your house years ago where there was a gun battle. And I went back and I said, 1999. A police officer was following somebody who broke the light at Brandt, came up Westfield Avenue, and they went down Miller Avenue to avoid the cop. They went down Miller Avenue. They realized it's a dead end. It goes into the resi. They turn around. They come back out. And the cops are sitting there waiting for him. What does he do? He tries to run over the officer. And the officers opened fire on the guy. They didn't kill him, but they stopped him in his tracks. He ended up in jail and spent a couple years in jail. I told the residents on Riverside Drive my own personal experience growing up in Clark in the Wild West days of 1970-71 when Billy Watterson was killed. 1970, Labor Day. I lived on Fan Street, which is right at the end of Gertrude Street. Adams Street wasn't in yet. That comes in a year later. I'm sitting there sleeping. It's in the overnight. Labor Day is the big holiday. The next day we're going to have a picnic. And what happens? There's a screaming siren in front of my house. My father gets up to see what's going on, and he sees a fugitive run across the front lawn and cuts between our house and the Ziobro's house. The next thing, there's a gun battle in our next-door neighbor's shed. They blew the shed apart. Clark PD, we love you. Blew the shed apart. The guy escaped out, went back down Ivy Street, cut around to Cornell, but Madison Hill Road was under construction at the time, and the guy got away. Why? Because those really weird things happen, not on a regular basis. Thank God we have a great police department. And Frank Mazzarella, and I say it all the time, keeping this house, this township, our house, our town, our homes, completely safe, clean, green, historic, always. Very simple. And the way we do that is having the best police department, the best public works, the best community, and a good administration and mayor and council. We're here to do not just play games. I didn't go over and get lip service because now I got another issue that's come onto my plate about the street and the street condition on Riverside Drive. Denman could use a little repair, but we're going to talk about that when I put things in for next year. But Martha, I promise you, one of Martha's neighbors turns around and goes, are you a politician? Are you going to BS me? Do I have to break your legs? I said to her, no, we're going to bring your request to the proper channels and get the funding for it because it's not a big deal. You're in a dead-end cul-de-sac where a criminal could thought it was a good place to go to. But we're here to make sure we hear what you need to make sure we are a completely safe community. That you don't, this resident, Martha's neighbor, her little 4-year-old stepped out the front door. She's on the porch. The mom's coming up behind her. They're going out somewhere. They just came home from church on Saturday. And there's a fugitive standing over there being chased by 10 cops from the state. And the mother looks at me and goes, what would you do? I said, I don't have a 10-year-old, a 4-year-old, but I understand you're concerned. It was insane. And that's why I said to her, this has got to be insane for that. Now that child has a childhood memory like I do from 1970. Just insane that we've got to protect our children and protect our communities and our homes. And the only way to do that is having the best police department in this state. And we thank you for that. Thanks, Mr. President. I'm going to continue working for my residents because that's why we're here. There's nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you have anything to add?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to state again that the polls are open tomorrow from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. The setup is slightly different. You're going to your same polling location, but when you get there, there will be 3 machines and 3 different poll books to sign in. I don't know why there's such feedback. And you can go to any poll book, any machine. You don't have to stick to your district, so it should be quicker. Just get on the shortest line, and you can vote quickly. So it's just a slightly different setup. 3 machines, go in, vote on any machine you like. Okay, so, and other than that, it's the same.
Great, thank you. Counselor, you have anything?
No report.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I think our captain
Captain.
has some information that was inquired about.
Just turn on the microphone. Turn the microphone. Yeah.
On now? Okay. Good evening. So I conducted a check of several days back, and it appeared to be only one incident, with that incident happening on Saturday. And that was involving a New Jersey State Police unit with Woodbridge, and it was for a suspect who was involved in a domestic violence incident. So, like Councilman Toll said, it's right off the Parkway, and, we have several incidents that occur, and as you can see with, police response up and down the Parkway. So, but I'll talk to Janice afterwards, and again, our main concern is keeping the residents safe. So, and that's what we did. We responded as a backup, and we weren't involved in that incident. So, thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Jim, you have anything?
Yeah, I just confirmed LCI is, again, limited commercial industrial district, so that was correct. And when we were talking about the arrive, I left the paperwork on my desk, and officer in charge, Captain Akabu, was nice enough to re-get it for me. But, year to date, we've had 7 arrive requests. So again, it's for the safety of our citizens and working with the county. That's all the comments I have for this evening, though.
Great, thank you. I just want to remind the citizens that this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, is the town-wide garage sale. I believe there's a listing on the website, is that correct?
There will be. People are still signing up.
Okay, great. Just if you're driving around town Saturday or Sunday, just be extra careful because there'll be a lot of people parking, walking on the streets. And last thing, just again, want to thank everyone who turned out for the 9/11 ceremony as well as today's Senior Citizens Barbecue Lunch. And that's all I have this evening. Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Councilman Toll. Second. Thank you, Councilwoman Hoff. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, see you next month. Thank you.